Okay, this video we're going to look at how you can add and subtract like terms. So like terms can be added or subtracted, unlike terms cannot be added or subtracted. So before we get into that, let's look at what we're talking about when we say the word term. So something like 6x would be a term. Term's got two parts. The value part there, known as a coefficient, and then the variable part here. Now, a lot of times people will say the number and the letter. That's fine if it helps you to remember that, but they are called a coefficient and the variable. And then, of course, we know that that means 6 times some value x, which we don't know yet. When we know the value of x, we can sub it in and we can multiply it by 6. But the whole point about adding and subtracting like terms is simplifying the expression, so when we do have to sub in those values, it's not too bad to work with. So, terms can look different, like 5x squared. 5 is a coefficient, and then x squared is a variable. And it can also look like this, minus 8xy, where minus 8 is a coefficient, and the term here is actually xy, not x or y, but xy multiplied together. So in terms of like terms, so if you have something like this, 8x plus 2x, you could add these two because, let me use my highlighter here, they are both variable x. So I'm going to keep that x, and I like to say, we do the math in front. So the math in front says 8 plus 2, which you know is 10. Now, there's different ways of actually looking at that. Algebra tiles are helpful with that. Some people like to draw them out. But for this video, we're going to look at exactly what constitutes like terms and then why we can add or subtract them. But there's a number of ways of getting used to that. And those methods that we talked about there, I'm sure you'll explore in your classroom. So if you had something like this, like 15y subtract 3y. So the key is, are the terms like? Well, yeah, they're both variable y. So I'm going to keep that y, and I'm going to do the math in front. 15 subtract 3, which you know is 12. So what this is saying, once I know the value of y, I can sub it in here, or I could actually sub it in here. That equal sign means I should get the same answer. Same thing here, when I know the variable x, I could sub it in here or here. But again, the advantage is when you simplify it by adding or subtracting like terms, it becomes a little bit less to do. Now, something like this, 8x plus 5x squared, you might think you could add these two. However, the terms are not like. One is x and one is x exponent 2. They have to be exactly the same. Either both have that exponent 2 or they don't. So that one stays put. Something else that we want to be careful of is the sign of the term. So when I look at something like this, yes, they are like terms. They're both y. Now we need to be careful though, because it's not 15 take away 3, it's minus 15 take away 3. So again, if you use your calculator for that, that's fine. If you use a number line for that, that's fine. Again, what you do got to be careful of is that sign in front of the term goes with that term, because we're going to have things like this. So we're going to look at this expression, this polynomial. Polynomial is when you got a bunch of terms trying to add and subtract. So 6x plus 3 minus 5x plus 9. So I like to identify the like terms when I start. So I'm going to get my highlighter, and I'm going to highlight 6x. That's the first term. And then in that color, I'm going to highlight everything else that is a like term. So it would be this one here. Now, I'm not just going to highlight 5x. That minus goes with the 5x. Very important that you take that sign in front. And looking around here, so I'm going to change my highlighter. Then I see the term plus 3. Now the like term there is going to be plus 9. Now those are like terms because they are just coefficients, or numbers if you prefer, without a variable part. So once I've identified them, I want to rewrite them. That's where the highlighter comes in handy, and I don't want to do that. I want to connect those two. I want to connect the 6x and the minus 5x. So I'm going to rewrite it very carefully, making sure I take the sign in front. Same thing here, I'm going to connect these two. And the last part is when you actually add or subtract them. So 6x take away 5x is just x, and 3 and 9 is 12. So again, taking care or extra caution with that sign in front. So let's take a look here at this one. Let's go 13x, take away 6, minus 5x, minus 4. So again, I like to use a highlighter. So I see 13x, and then again, I'm going to be careful, it's not 5x, but it's minus 5x. I'm going to get that whole minus in there. Let's see if I change the color here. And then I don't have 6, I have minus 6 and minus 4. So again, you got to be careful with that sign in front. Whatever the sign is on the first line, when you rewrite it, it needs to keep that sign or you've changed the whole expression. And then you can add or subtract. So 13x take away x, I know it's x, and I'm basically doing 13 take away 5. And then here I'm not doing 6 take away 4, I'm doing minus 6 take away 4, which is minus 10. Again, you could also say negative 6, negative 4, which is negative 10. Negative minus and subtract are actually the same action, right? That's called a synonym. Those are words that mean the exact same thing, but they're spelled differently. So we use a lot of brackets in math. So let's take a look at something like this. So I got in bracket 5y plus 6, which I can't add those two. They're not like terms. And I got 7y minus 9. They're not like terms. So I want to get rid of those brackets, but I want to be careful. Not just erasing the brackets, because actually in front of each bracket, even though it might not look like there's anything there, there's actually a 1 there. Okay, 1 is understood. So 1 is really multiplying through. And we know when 1 multiplies, looks like it doesn't do anything because nothing changes. So again, I don't want just to think about, just taking away the brackets. I want you to think that there's a 1 in front because that's actually what's going on. The 1 is multiplying out. Because a lot of times there won't be a 1 there. There'll be something else. Now, once you do that, again, you get your like terms. So if you don't want to use a highlighter, you can kind of connect them like that. Just making sure that you keep the sign in front. So I got the 5y and the 7y, and then I got the plus 6 and the minus 9. And the last part's when you add or subtract, so you're going to have 12y and 6 take away 9 is minus 3. So again, when you've got the brackets, think of it, let's get another one down here. Let's think of it as there's a 1 in front. If you don't see anything else, because that's actually what's going on there. So this 1 is multiplying through, and again, we know what 1 does. It doesn't really change the value. In fact, it doesn't change the value. So again, once you do that, then you're going to identify your like terms and then rewrite them. Again, keeping extra care, making sure you got the sign in front. 3x take away 2x is x. Minus 3 minus 7 is minus 10. Now, I'm going to show you this one here. Let's use z here just to kind of change it up a bit. So I got 8z plus 5x in one bracket. Then I got a minus 4z plus 4. Well, there's a 1 in front of there, so I'm going to multiply through. It doesn't change anything. But here, change my plus sign there. It's not a 1, it's a minus 1. So when you're multiplying through by minus 1, negative 1, that will have a change. Negative 1 times positive 4z is going to be minus 4z. Negative 1 times positive 4 is going to be minus 4. So again, there, it wasn't 1, it was minus 1. So then when I'm collecting my like terms, I got 8z and minus 4z. And then we got plus 5x. And I also noticed there are no more x's, so then I'm going to have to change my highlighter. And then minus 4. So again, my like terms here, the only ones I got that are like are 8z minus 4z, and I got plus 5x minus 4. So when I go to the last line where I'm adding and subtracting, the only thing I can do is 8z take away 4z, which is 4z, plus 5x, and the minus 4 stay the way they are. So look at one more there. So again, careful when there's that minus in front. See, so here, multiply by 1. Here by minus 1. So again, careful. Minus 1 times positive 2x is minus 2x. Now, minus 1 times minus 5 is a positive 5. So 7x take away 2x. And then minus 3 plus 5. So then this would be 5x. This would be plus 2. So when we're multiplying through by 1, that's called the distributive property. So in the next video, we're going to look at when it's not 1, when it's a value other than 1. Same idea, you're still going to multiply through, but you got to make sure you're multiplying through by the correct value that is in front. All right, we will see you in the next video.